There was once a time where... I don't even know if I should tell it.
I'm the man! And on iTunes now! And I did it! November 1st!
2 men, 2 capes, 0 egos. In a town built entirely on main character energy, these 2 somehow forgot to show up for the memo. One's an assassin who apologizes to his own hitmen, the other's Superman, and he still looks surprised every single time someone asks for a photo. Neither of them has ever shared a scene together, a franchise, or even a single joint red carpet, and yet somehow, across a decade of separate interviews, separate franchises, and separate meltdowns of their own fan bases, the internet keeps circling back to the exact same question. How are these 2 the nicest men in an industry that famously does not require you to be nice? That in fact rewards the opposite almost constantly? This is the story of Hollywood's 2 most humble superstars who've never even worked together, and honestly, don't need to, because they've each been quietly proving the same point for over a decade, on opposite sides of the ocean, in completely different franchises. You can be one of the most famous men alive and still act like you just got there yesterday. Still act mildly baffled that anyone recognizes you at all. Let's start with the story that basically broke the internet in half. The one clip that, more than any other, cemented exactly what kind of guy Keanu was going to be treated as for the rest of his career, no matter what came next.
There is something in the UK that we love just as much as we love John Wick.
Aww.
And that is the hardware store Wick's.
Oh, nice.
So Wick's is it's a national treasure within the UK.
When you just have to get it done.
Yes, exactly.
A radio host named Roman Kemp sat Keanu down ahead of John Wick, Chapter 4, held up a picture of a hardware store called Wick's, and asked with a completely straight face whether John Wick would know the price of a light bulb.
I mean, do you think John Wick would know how much would a halogen light bulb cost?
Absolutely not.
He followed it up by asking whether John Wick could beat British fitness influencer Joe Wicks in a fighter question with no correct answer, engineered purely to make Keanu squirm on camera. Keanu didn't even blink. "I know it's hard to believe," he said, "but John Wick doesn't really want to fight."
I'm going to show you a man now. Who would win in a fight? Would it be John Wick or Joe Wicks? Now, Joe Wicks is a fitness Instagrammer.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, he's loved across the UK. Do you think John Wick could have him though?
You know what, man? I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but I mean, John Wick doesn't really want to fight.
Okay.
Let's just talk about life.
Okay, so...
And fitness.
Then he pivoted the whole thing towards something warmer, talking about life and fitness instead of playing along with the bit. Capital FM posted the interview afterward asking if it was the most awkward interview of all time. The internet's response? Not one single person blamed Keanu. "Patience of a saint," one comment read. "Nobody defends someone that hard unless they've already decided that person can do no wrong."
Can I tell you a story about Henry Cavill? I had reservations at this restaurant, Carbone, and I look over in the booth and I'm like, I think that's Superman. And he's like really keeping to himself, like nobody's noticing him, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Now cut to Henry Cavill, Las Vegas, minding his own business. Simu Liu, yes, an actual Marvel superhero in his own right, spots him across the room and, in his own words, is too intimidated to even say hi.
And I just keep looking at him and I'm like, no, he doesn't know who I am. I'm not gonna go say hi. I'm not gonna bother him. And then I was like, you know what, but what are we doing? We're in Vegas. I got up and I kind of went over and I was like, hi, I don't know if you know who I am, but I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of you. And he it's like one of those things, he wraps me up in a bear hug and he's like, dude, of course I know who you are.
He wasn't confident Cavill would even recognize him. Cavill doesn't just recognize him. He wraps him in a full bear hug, greets his entire group personally, sits down, has a meal with them, like they've known each other for years. No publicist in sight, no photo op being staged.
So all of my friends, after we had finished our meal, I went to ask for the check and the waiter was like, Mr. Cavill has taken care of your bill.
Then Liu goes to pay the check at the end of the meal. The waiter tells him it's already handled. Mr. Cavill has taken care of your bill, he's told. Superman quietly paid for Shang-Chi's dinner and didn't even bring it up himself. The story only came out because Liu told it afterward, clearly still a little stunned by the whole thing. That's the pattern here, right out of the gate. Neither of these guys performs kindness for the cameras. They just do it, quietly, in a hotel room or a random Vegas restaurant with zero press in sight, and then someone else has to be the one to tell the story afterward because they sure won't bring it up themselves. Keep going, because it genuinely gets better from here.
You reunited with your Speed co-stars and, had a little screening to celebrate 30 years.
Yes.
How was that, to get back together?
So nice. Yeah, Sandra Bullock and I get along really well, and it's always nice to see her, so it was...
On BBC's The One Show, hosts Alex Jones and Gabby Logan decided a Speed reunion segment was the perfect place to ask Keanu whether he and Sandra Bullock secretly had feelings for each other on set, a question aimed squarely at his personal life. Live on national television, in front of millions of people who tuned in for nostalgia, not an interrogation. Keanu, who has a long-term partner, didn't get defensive, didn't shut it down, didn't even flinch. He just laughed. Oh, yeah, we were very professional.
Discover later that you could have got on even better. You both had a bit of a crush on each other on set, but you didn't find out until later on that you kind of fancied each other.
Oh, yeah, we were very professional.
One line. Awkwardness instantly became the host's problem, not his. And when Ellen later pulled up a clip of Sandra Bullock admitting on her own show that she'd actually had a crush on Keanu that entire shoot, telling Ellen it was hard for her to stay serious because of how sweet he was, Keanu's reaction wasn't ego, wasn't smugness. It was pure disbelief. "Did you know that she had a crush on me?" he asked, genuinely stunned, turning it back on himself instead of taking a victory lap. She obviously didn't know I had a crush on her either.
Did you know that she had a crush on you? No? Did you
She
have...
obviously didn't know I had a crush on her either.
Oh, wow.
Two Hollywood legends, mutually oblivious to each other's feelings for 30 years, and Keanu's first instinct on live television was still just quiet astonishment that anyone would like him back.
Yes, absolutely. Henry's a saint. Henry's very, very streamlined. Everything is very serious with Henry.
Henry Cavill has his own version of that same, wait, people like me? Energy, except his came with press tour PR chaos attached, live on Good Morning America of all places. During Enola Holmes promo, Millie Bobby Brown was asked, on camera, what it's like working with Cavill every day. Her answer, it's just so awful. It's just too bad about his face. She admitted she constantly worries Henry's going to take out a restraining order on her for how much she giggles in his presence, and dared anyone to stare into his eyes for 5 seconds without losing it, right there on morning television with him sitting inches away. Most actors would lean into that, milk it, turn it into a whole bit for the cameras and the tabloids afterward.
I read that Millie kept you up to date on Love Island. Is that correct?
She sure did. Yeah. It was very much, whether I wanted it or not, I was getting the full Love Island updates every day in the makeup and hair trailer. So yeah. She was definitely keeping me posted on that, and she was also chasing me around, trying to get me to do TikTok videos and stuff. And that was a hard pass from me.
Cavill's response was almost comically restrained by comparison. He set actual terms and conditions with her in their real friendship, no questions about his personal life, full stop, and just kept being the same calm, steady, slightly bemused guy in every interview, letting Millie do all the flustering for both of them while he quietly redirected the conversation somewhere safer. Notice what's climbing here. A radio host trying to embarrass Keanu for laughs. A national broadcast prying into his love life. A co-star publicly announcing she can't function around Cavill's face on live morning television. Every single time, the guy at the center of it just stays exactly the same size. No ego spike, no defensive wall, just mild, genuine confusion that any of this is happening to him. It's not just the big interview moments either. Keanu has been photographed for years, riding the New York subway like anyone else, no security detail, clearing out a car, no tinted window escape after a premiere, just John Wick himself, standing in a crowded train holding onto a pole like everybody else's commute, matters exactly as much as his does. And Cavill's version of staying grounded looks almost aggressively normal for a man who's played Superman, Sherlock Holmes, and a monster-hunting Witcher back-to-back. Fans and journalists have described walking in on him during press days building his own gaming PC or painting tiny Warhammer figurines between takes, the kind of hobby that has nothing to do with being famous and everything to do with just liking something because it's fun.
And this is, you're painting, what is this thing you're painting?
That is it's a helmet.
Okay.
A very small helmet, obviously.
Tiny little helmet. And this is the full figure.
And that is a body attached
to the helmet. You painted this.
I did.
And then you play with it?
Neither of these things makes headlines on their own. That's kind of the point. Nobody stages a subway ride or a hobby session for a magazine cover. You only find out about it because someone else happened to notice, snapped a photo, and posted it with a caption along the lines of, "Wait, that's actually him?" And every single time one of these stories resurfaces online, the comment section fills up the exact same way. Not with jokes, not with skepticism, just paragraph after paragraph of strangers insisting these two could never do anything wrong. Because here's the thing about actually being humble. It's not what you say when things are going great, when the compliments are flowing and the crowd's already on your side. It's what you say when they fall apart in front of everyone, when there's no script, no publicist whispering in your ear, and every incentive in the world to get a little defensive. Keanu's version of that test came on NBC's Today, when host Craig Melvin pushed past the film promo and asked if there was anything in his life, personal or professional, he'd go back and redo the kind of question that can open a door to something genuinely painful, especially given everything Keanu has lived through. Keanu didn't storm off, didn't lecture him about boundaries, didn't get short with him even as Melvin pressed further hoping for more. He just said, "Nothing that I'm willing to talk about," laughed it off and held the line. Calm, immovable, no drama required, door closed gently instead of slammed.
I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this, because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come.
Henry Cavill's version of that test was bigger, messier, and played out in front of the entire internet in real time. After years of being Superman, after publicly announcing his return to the role in a video fans replayed 1,000 times, celebrating like the character was his for good, Warner Brothers reversed course completely just months later. Cavill found out he was being recast before the ink on his own comeback announcement had even dried. This is the part where most actors release a statement through a publicist, maybe throw a little shade at the studio, maybe just go quiet and bitter for 6 months. Cavill wrote it himself, in his own words, on his own account. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest. But that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. And then, instead of bitterness, instead of a single word of blame aimed at the new regime that had just publicly demoted him, he closed with this. "My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards." The internet did not see that coming. A man losing the single biggest role of his career, live in public, after being told to announce his return, only to have it reversed weeks later, chose grace on the way out. Instead of a single bitter word, no shade at the new director, no dig at the studio executives who'd very publicly whiplashed him, nothing that would have been even a little understandable given the circumstances. Just gratitude, and a farewell that read like he genuinely meant every word of it. That's the mid-video reality check, if there is one. These aren't two guys who are nice because nothing bad ever happens to them. Keanu's been mocked on live radio, quizzed about his love life on national TV, and pressed for painful regrets on a morning show. Cavill's been publicly humiliated by a studio reversal that most actors would still be subtweeting about years later. After being told to announce a comeback, the studio itself then quietly walked back. Neither of them used any of it as an excuse to get bitter, defensive, or difficult. If anything, that's the actual audition for being Hollywood's nicest guy. Not how you act when everyone's clapping for you, but how you act the one time they're not, when the cameras are still rolling and there's no script telling you what to say next. And then there's the capstone. The moment that proves this isn't a character, either of them is playing for a specific junket or a specific viral moment, it's just who they actually are when nobody's coaching them through it.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Sitting across from Stephen Colbert, midway through a light-hearted late-night segment full of games and banter, Colbert suddenly turns serious and asks Keanu the single hardest question you can ask a stranger on live television: what happens when we die? The studio goes quiet almost instantly. Keanu actually pauses, visibly thinking, not performing, not reaching for a rehearsed line, and answers, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." Colbert has no follow-up ready. The audience doesn't even laugh, doesn't clap right away, they just sit with it. One sentence, completely unscripted, and an entire late-night comedy segment turns into the most human moment of the night.
Because now, Henry Cavill, are you the hottest man in the world right now?
Doesn't sound it.
Cavill's version of that same instinct shows up in something much smaller, much quieter, and honestly, just as telling in its own way. Long before any of the superhero fame, before the six-pack and the sword fighting and the sexiest man alive headlines started piling up, people who worked alongside him described the exact same guy fans still describe today. His own Man of Steel co-star Amy Adams put it simply, "He's the nicest guy and so humble." Not performing humility for a specific magazine profile or a specific carefully managed soundbite, just, apparently, built that way from the very start of his career. Whether the cameras happened to be rolling or not, whether anyone was going to write it down or not. So here's what actually connects two men who've never shared a scene, a franchise, or even a single joint interview across all these years. Keanu absorbs every awkward, invasive, or painful question thrown at him and hands it back with warmth instead of walls, every single time, regardless of who's asking or how personal it gets. Cavill quietly pays for strangers' meals, sets boundaries without ever being rude about it, rides out professional humiliation without a trace of bitterness, and still finds time to build a gaming PC or paint a tiny miniature between takes just because he enjoys it. Different franchises, different studios, completely different decades of fame, completely different fan bases who've probably never even discussed the other guy, and somehow the exact same instinct running underneath both of them. Don't make it about you, even when everyone in the room is actively trying to make it about you. Maybe that's the real reason people keep pairing these two together in comment sections and who's the nicest guy in Hollywood debates, even though they've never actually met, never worked on a project together, and might not even know the other one exists as anything more than a name in a headline. It's not really about the looks, or the roles, or the six-packs, even though those probably don't hurt. It's that both of them, over and over, in completely different situations, on completely different continents, kept choosing the quieter, kinder, more embarrassing for nobody but themselves option, when the louder, easier, more self-serving one was sitting right there for the taking. That's a harder thing to fake consistently than people give it credit for, and both of these guys have been doing it for over a decade without a single high-profile slip, without a single viral moment of them snapping at a fan, a journalist, or a co-star, which is genuinely rare at this level of fame, where almost everyone eventually has at least one bad day caught on camera. So who do you think handled it better? Keanu's quiet. Did you know she had a crush on me? Disbelief. Or Cavill's graceful Superman exit that could have gone so much worse for so many people involved. Let us know in the comments who you'd want in your corner on your worst day. And if you want more real Hollywood stories like this, hit subscribe. We've got more of these coming every week.